Countless followers of Yeshua believe that they only can become full-time servants of the Master. Their frustrations with secular occupations, their failures at work, they'd be all going bye-byes. They wouldn't have to deal with the workplace anymore. And I'm telling you, this is wishful thinking. No, it's shallow thinking. It's shallow. Observe how Rabbi Shaul refers. Do you ever read what Rabbi Shaul says about full-time ministry? You ever read his critique of what he does? Personal critique? You know, he says, I urge, well, for example, let's read from Philippians 2, 14 to 16. Do everything without kvetching or arguing, so that you may be blameless and pure children of God without defect in the midst of a twisted and a perverted generation, among whom you shine like stars in the sky. As you hold on to the word of life, if you do this, I will be able to boast when the day of the Messiah comes, that I did not run or toil for nothing. And to Colossae, chapter 1:28. We, for our part, proclaim him. We warn, confront, and teach everyone in all wisdom, so that we may present everyone as having reached the goal, united with the Messiah. It is for that I toil, striving with all the energy that he stirs up in me so mightily. Does that sound like it's an easy job? Rabbi Shaul describes his work in the ministry by using the Greek word kopiano. And this is the word that used to denote exertion, exhaustion through labor. Labor. If I told you all that I did yesterday, and I'm not looking for pity, you would have no idea. If I broke it down, what you think is holy, spiritual, anointed, pastoral work versus what I really did yesterday for ministry, for people, Pastor back there will tell you, he knows. He knows. Yeah. So much of what I do has nothing to do with bringing you this message or worship on Shabbat. Most of my time is spent talking, ministry, helping, driving, doing for you and others. You have no idea. What do you think laid that carpet downstairs beside Jeremy? I did. Until about 1 in the morning, about 20 years ago. And it's still here. That's the kind of stuff that I would do on a Shabbat night. Because it had to get done. Right? That's full-time ministry. That's full-time ministry. I moved a freezer yesterday out of the basement. So we have a freezer. Why do we have a freezer? So that we can bring food to those who are homebound. So we can have an ability to reach into people's lives who can't get out, come to a service, or take care of themselves anymore. Because there's a vision of people like Stephanie and my wife and others. Exhaustion. My day didn't end last night until about 1 in the morning. Of course, I had a house full of kids who were spending the night because they had somewhere they had to go to Zanesville today. So we had to feed them and take care of them. Ministry. That's ministry on Shabbat. Amen? Whoever believes that the work of ministry is easy, you have not studied Shaul. We must see that ministry is no less work than secular employment. And as such, it comes under the curse. And you know the curse. Curse of Bereshit, or Genesis 3:17 again. Are you frustrated by your work? I bet you a lot of you are. I bet a lot of you have gotten frustrated with your work or are. Or remember being frustrated with your work. To a great extent, this is the result of humankind's fall. But if you think that entering full-time ministry will exchange your frustration for fulfillment, you are sadly mistaken. In fact, you are greatly deceived. I want you to know that I face frustration every week in preparing for this message. I am frustrated because I can't find uninterrupted time. I cannot get uninterrupted time. Whether it's a phone call, a knock on the door, a crisis, a need, I can't get uninterrupted time. I can't find it. Because my life is not my own. Can't find it. I'm frustrated because I can't find time to study uninterrupted. I'm frustrated because I can't find a handle and what I'm trying to bring for you. I'm frustrated, discouraged with the results sometimes. I listen to it and go, did I say that? Oh, God. Are you bored with your job? Bet a lot of you are. And that's part of the consequences of the fall. And I face the same problem just like you do. Every job has its routines, right? When I leave here and I'm going to work tomorrow all day, I'm going to enjoy my day off. When is that? When's my day off? I don't have one. I work 7 days a week. I have no day off. Okay, I'm not looking for pity. I'm going to leave here and I'm going to wake up in the morning, I'm going to work all day, and I'm going to have a whole list of responsibilities and routines that I have to go through there. And I have things I have to remember to do or I'm going to lose a job. So if you feel that too, welcome to the club. We're all on board together. Don't think that this is rosy up here, because it's not. Our work as well as our world is affected by the curse. There's no question about it. So are you under, like I said, if you're under pressure, don't be surprised. If you stop to think about it, you will have to agree that full-time ministry is the only occupation, which is it's kind of sad, where a man is pressured by the belief that the minister should neglect his wife and his family on the pretext that this is a test of a spiritual dedication. Do you know how many, I think it's like 75 to 80% of pastors say that ministry has affected their lives negatively. And 2,000 pastors, I think something like a month, leave ministry for that reason. Yeah, 2,000. It's crazy. Now sometimes believers feel that while full-time ministry may not be without its drawbacks, okay, so there are a few drawbacks, at least you'll be doing a work that would keep you in the Torah, and that you would be stronger, more able to resist temptation, Pastor. Many believers have had to leave the full-time ministry because they're basically, their spiritual lives are dried up and they're overtaxed. So for them, the Bible ceased to be a guidebook and a love letter. No, for them, now it becomes a textbook and a sermon manual. And this brings me to my last principle. The main factor essential, to satisfaction in your vocation is that you are doing what God has called you to do, and therefore that God is in it. It's an honorable work. See, the book of Ecclesiastes gives great insight into this matter of one's occupation or work. Solomon tells us, in Shlomo, that work which is for selfish gain, that which attempts to gain pleasure and build a monument to oneself, is vain. It's vanity. Work that leaves God out will not bring about enduring results. It won't. And that for which you labored a lifetime may become the property of a fool. To find pleasure and fulfillment in our work, we must recognize work as a good gift from the hand of God. So work is in one sense a curse, but now you're hearing that it's a blessing. Which I tried to communicate to that young man yesterday. See, if God is at work within us, we read Ecclesiastes, if he's in our work, then our work will endure. That's what the scripture says about vocation. That's what the scripture says about work. I'm going to wrap this up for you. Apologize for going a little bit over. But I'm not done talking. You have to listen to me in the congregational meeting too. Got a lot to say there. Think about it. Of the 52 parables of Yeshua, do you know that 45 of them are within the context of the workplace? 45. If you look at every major patriarch of Scripture, almost every one of them were businessmen. Almost every one of them were businessmen. That'd be a good Torah study for you. Go through it. Go through every one of the patriarchs. And you'll find out every one of them were businessmen. Not everyone, 90% of them. What we do here, brothers and sisters, in the Kehillah should affect where we work. It should have an effect upon the environment where we work. And the functions that we perform at work should affect the Kehillah. Our work ethic should come here. Because I often ask myself the question, if you were to show up regularly late for work, would you have a job? No. Then why is it any different here? If you go to work without the appropriate garments on, which our whole Torah portion of the week is about, if you weren't dressed appropriately for the job, would you still have a job? What?
No.
What?
No.
No. But somehow it's different here. What you do in the workplace should affect what happens here, as what happens here should affect the workplace. They're symbiotic. They work in tandem. They represent your attitude and your spirit. Brothers and sisters, we can have an influence in the body and also in the marketplace as long as whatever we do, we all do, as the scripture says, to the glory of God. What we do is important to God. He uses us as instruments to advance His kingdom on earth, and whether we fulfill these purposes in full-time ministry or we do it in secular employment, it's not important to God. As long as we are doing what He has called us to do, and as long as we give Him the glory in doing it. The body of Messiah must be effective and influential within and outside its walls. So God's kingdom is preached to everyone. In this way, the gospel, the good news, is going to touch schools. It'll touch politics. It'll touch the workplace. It'll touch everyone. Many of God's leaders ministered, like I said, to the greatest rulers and business leaders of their day. And God calls people in all walks of life and vocations to share and spread the good news of Yeshua. How about Martin Luther? The whole world could abound with services to the Lord, not only in churches, but also in the home, kitchen, workshop, and field. Brothers and sisters, ministry involves people. It's people. And its purpose is to advance the kingdom of God in word and deed. And whether it refers to those who work in a traditional full-time ministry, or in the streets, or in the city, or in the workplace, ministry must be seen as a personal commission from God that works towards the reconciliation of others to Messiah Yeshua. That, my friends, whether in service to your congregation or in your vocation, is the fundamental responsibility of every born-again, Spirit-filled believer. That, brothers and sisters, is taking care of the Lord's business. Please rise. Father, as we bow our heads and pray, let that sink in, Father. That whether we're called to ministry or called to a vocation, we are the ambassadors and representatives of Messiah Yeshua. And our highest calling is to bring His good news wherever you place us. And if it's in the workplace, then that is our ministry. If it's in full-time ministry, then that's our ministry. Or if we do both, that's our ministry. Father, in Yeshua's name, let us be reminded that what we do here must find its way into the workplace. And what we do in the workplace, what we hold ourselves accountable to in the workplace, must find its way here. The same integrity, the same punctuality, the same honesty, the same ambition and drive has to come here in our service to the Lord, in our own relationship with the Lord. Father, if we could bring those two worlds together and embrace them, what a powerful testimony and witness we would have. It's not secular. It's flesh and spirit that we are battling with. And Father, I pray in Yeshua's name that your spirit would have the victory. And that we take very, very seriously from this day on what was spoken today. B'Shem Yeshua Adonai, it is the business of the Lord, and to His name we pray. Amen. Yivrech Yahweh v'yishmerecha T'Adonai panav alecha v'yichanecha T'Adonai panav alecha v'sim lecha shalom. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make His face to shine upon you, be gracious unto you, And I pray the Lord would lift his countenance upon you and grant you his shalom. B'Shem Yeshua Adonai. Do you agree? Amen. That's why you say amen. Amen? Go ahead, brother.